Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse One here. Let's see how this goes tonight. How's everybody doing? Uh, on a Thursday even, right? Yesterday was nuts, guys. I'll tell you what, that was very, very crazy stuff. So, um, 8 times, it was just unbelievable. So, well, let's see how this goes tonight. Hopefully this goes okay and we get this show on the road and we don't have any flake outs. It actually, when I first logged in this time, it actually went right away. So that's a good sign anyway. So hopefully that will continue and we'll get this on here. Well, I don't see any of my mods in here. Where's all my mods? I'll have to give Mike a call or a message. Hold on a second, guys. I'm going to do something real quick here. So, oh, there's Wolfang and JJ. Okay, and there's Mike. All right. I was just sending you a message, Mike. I'm like, where's my mods? Okay, so anyway, before we get started, I would like to say, please, everybody, keep it family friendly. It's a very family friendly oriented channel, so no racism, no nastiness to each other or anybody else, especially me. No, I believe me, I get so much hate, you guys would have no idea. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate my moderators being in here on an off night that we normally don't do. So if you have any questions after we get going here, guys, please just all cap lock so it stands out, okay? So anyway, welcome everybody. Hopefully we're almost up to the whole 2-minute mark and no problems. But when I logged in tonight, it did it right away. So that's a good sign. And I don't know, but I heard afterwards that yesterday a lot of different channels were having a problem. So I don't know if it was that or, YouTube has played so many freaking games. A lot of my stuff is really being restricted. It's not going out there like it was before. And, when you're used to getting 10, 12,000 views a day, and all of a sudden you're struggling to get 5,000 or 6,000 views a day, that tells you that you're being suppressed a little bit. So I guess I don't like what I have to say. It is what it is. But so here's something I wanted to bring up. Now, I had done my video earlier today, and I was actually shocked by a couple things. And we're going to address this, okay? And this all goes with programming, guys. This all goes with a manipulation and programming of people. So I talked about the CEO of GM getting $22 million a year. Now, these people are all talking, all these people that work at GM get $60 an hour. No, they don't. I got a buddy of mine that works for GM, and he don't make anywhere near $60 an hour. He gets paid well, but he's not getting anywhere near $60 an hour, okay? So that I know for a fact, all right? But anyway, and he's a machinist, so he's higher up on the pay scale than the line workers. So, but anyway, So I talked about the CEO making $22 million an hour, and I literally had people say to me that, well, that's the going rate and that's what they deserve. No, they don't. Guys, you know what? You have been programmed. A lot of you have been programmed to think that that's acceptable, that these ridiculous people what are their qualifications, number one, to be the CEO of these companies, or deserve that kind of money. They don't. And that's not being a communist. And somebody was saying, oh, well, you're sounding like a communist and a socialist. Absolutely not. Again, I'm a huge, huge believer in incentive-driven based things, okay? So we'll talk about baseball players for a second. I believe that if you hit 30 home runs in a year, or you hit 20 home runs, it triggers this bonus. If you hit 30 home runs, it triggers this bonus. If you hit 300, it triggers this bonus. You give them a reason, you give them an incentive to earn that money, okay? And if they hit those plateaus, then they're going to make more money. It should be the same structure for the CEOs, for the workers, for everybody all along the line. If you hit certain numbers and the company does well, everybody wins, not just the CEO. I cannot believe that anybody thinks that a CEO of a company getting $22 million a year, plus benefits, plus stock options, and whatever else they're getting, that that's okay. I just can't believe that you would think that that's okay. I really don't. It blows my mind to think that people think, yeah, that's fair. It's not. It's greedy, people controlling everything else. And I'm going to tell you what, any job, and I've had a lot of jobs through the years, guys, any jobs that you have out there, they will replace you in a heartbeat and not think anything of it. If you drop dead tomorrow from your job, let's say you love your job, you've been in this job for 20 years, you think it's the best thing going, and that's great. If you like what you do, you really don't work if you like what you do. But if you think that it's, that they will blink an eye in replacing you the next day like that, that's what they'll do, because they don't care. Okay, they're not, they got no skin in it. They don't care. So that's what I want people to understand. I don't like that GM has outsourced to Mexico. Well, no, you know what, Sean Wheeler, and I totally get that. I totally understand that. I think that American companies need to stop outsourcing all these things and having all these different countries around the world making these products so that they can just make more money. I mean, how much realistically is enough? You know what? When I went to go look for a new vehicle, I was actually looking at a truck first because I thought a truck would be more practical up here. All right. The cheapest truck that I could find, and it was used truck, was like $30,000. And I'm like, there's no way in heck I'm paying no $30,000 because I don't want that huge of a payment. It was ridiculous. And that was for a used truck with like 30,000 miles on it or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was just, it's nuts. Try to buy a new truck, you're looking at, $40,000 for a truck. That is insane. It's absolutely insane. So, I don't get where, that these companies are outsourcing all their products, like was said on here, that they're outsourcing their stuff. They're making more and more money all the time, and then they're going to squeeze their workers and play all these games. It's all greed. It's ridiculous. And it's not just the automotive things, guys. You look at any CEO of any company. Look at the charities. Let's look at that. Let's go on a whole. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant here tonight. Okay, so I'm gonna get on my soapbox. Let's look at the charities that So if anybody is familiar with Wegmans, they're huge, big thing with the United Way. Okay, so they do all this stuff all the time. They try to get you to give money every time you go into the store, certain times of the year. Do you want to donate XYZ amount to the United Way, or your change on the thing? Do you want to give that to the United Way? Okay, and people think, okay, great, yeah, it's going to a good cause, and a lot of times, part of it is, but the amount of money in any charity, and this is what I want you to do. If you give to a charity, do the research. Like the March of Dimes, the reason they call it the March of Dimes is because one dime out of every dollar actually goes towards the cause. The other 90 cents on that dollar goes to administrative costs, which a big part of that administrative cost is what? The CEO making bank for these companies. It is ridiculous, and you're paying them, and you think that's okay. And that's what I don't get that mindset. If you work hard and you're making something better, then you should get paid. Of course you should get paid, okay? But why should it only be these guys way up here at the top reaping the benefits from your hard labor, from your hard work, and you shouldn't be getting any part of that, okay? I'm not saying that, like I said, incentive-based. If you meet XYZ quota, bang, here's your bonus. That's in my opinion, if I ran a company and it was my company and that's what I did, if we hit this plateau, here's your bonus. So you give your workers that incentive to want to get to that point because they're doing it for themselves as well. You know what I mean? If you have employees and you give them XYZ, and here's the other thing, it always killed me. So now it's time for raises. Hey, J Potts, what's going on with the bank repo? Should we worry about keeping money in the banks? What should we do with our money? Thanks again for all you do. I will get to the banks in a second. We'll talk about that in just a moment, okay? But thank you very much for that donation. I appreciate that. But, it's like if you have that person be part of that company and they have an incentive to make it better, that's what's going to make it better. And that's just my take on it. I mean, I could be way off base. What do I know? Okay, I'm just giving you my opinion. I think it would work better. That's my opinion. You give them so I was talking about raises. So you go in for your yearly evaluation. If you're working hard, you are only benefiting the company, not for you. Exactly, JJ. Exactly right. You're only benefiting the company. None of it goes in your pocket. But here's the thing. So you go in for your yearly raise, and they're going to give you 50 cents or 75 cents an hour raise. Big deal. The cost of living has probably gone up higher than that. So what are you making? How much more are you actually making? They don't take care of people. A lot of these companies don't take care of people. Now, there are companies out there that do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all. I would never blanket the whole statement as all. But a lot of companies don't take care of people. Okay? So we're going to talk about banks real quick, where we got all messed up here last time. Okay, and hopefully YouTube doesn't come in here and hammer me now because of this point. But so last week, what we had going on, and so I'm not sure a lot of people are aware of this. Every night the banks borrow from each other a lot of times to cover their shortcomings and stuff like that. Now, if anybody remembers in 2000 out the bank bailouts because too big to fail, so the United States government gave $700 billion to the banks, okay, so that they could stay afloat and not have an issue. So now, this last week, per night, and it ended up being about over 5 days. It was $350 billion, so to the tune of $75 billion a night, was being lended to the banks once again by the federal government, okay, to keep their head above water, to keep them afloat. Now, where's our bailout? What happens to us if we hit hard times and we can't do stuff? Do we get a bailout? We never get a bailout. Your average person in the United States gets screw you, good luck. That's what they get. I mean, that's the reality of it, So when the banks are doing this, it's kind of, to me, this is really a warning sign, okay? Banks are in trouble once again. Same situation is happening once again. So let's talk about those banks again. What are those CEOs making? Jamie Dimon, is he still in charge of, was it JP Morgan? Was he in charge of? I don't even know if he's still in charge of JP Morgan. We need a student loan bailout. Well, you're never going to get that because they're making way too much money, Bill Norwood, off of the students. That is a racket in itself, and they're making a fortune off of that. Yeah, Jamie Dimon, he's still with. Is he JP Morgan? I'm not sure what bank is he with. You got Chase? Okay. All right. So Jamie Dimon still with Chase. Thank you guys for letting me know because I couldn't remember which bank it was, but I knew he was involved with the banking. Let's look at his bonus. Now, I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but I'll tell you what, no matter how much trouble these banks are in, people like him, they're still getting paid theirs. And I'm sure he's probably I'll guarantee you, he's making more than the CEO of GM is making. Almost guarantee it. Guarantee it. And, so anyway, there's troubling signs with the banking system, okay? Don't be shocked if you see a repeat of what happened in 2008 all over again. It would not shock me at all, guys. Very scary stuff, to be honest with you. Hey, guys, if you haven't yet, if you could shoot me a thumbs up, I would definitely appreciate that. We just got going here. I know that. Well, thank goodness so far, no issues tonight. Yesterday was very, very interesting. I mean, it's like that's why the 8th time that I tried to get online, I was like, and I knew that it was like giving me about 2 minutes. And that's why I said, this is going to be it. If it screws up, I'm going to just do it tomorrow. I don't know what was going on. I had no technical issues on my part. My part seemed to be working fine. So I don't know what was going on. I don't know if because it was my title or what. I have no idea. So, but it was funny because when the first initial one froze and I tried to get back on and kept getting back on, they demonetized it, the first one. I was like, really? Probably because I was talking about the banks. But, there's been a lot of stuff going on here with the internet, with Facebook and all these different types of situations too. But I I would be worried with the banks right now. I'm not telling you guys what you should do as far as, pull your money out. I wouldn't keep a lot of cash in a bank no matter what anyway. That's my personal opinion, because something happens, you don't have access to your money. And so that is definitely an issue. You know what I mean? It's like if you got a nice chunk of change in the bank, and all of a sudden now you don't have access to your money, and that can be a real problem. Me personally, like I said, I would rather have my money tied up in goods and having things that are tangible, something that I can put my hand on. Here is say a can of soup. You know what I mean? It just is an example, but I would rather have my stuff in things that I can either use for my own personal needs, that I could use for barter, that's going to help out me and my group survive whatever happens. I'm telling you right now, if there was a shutdown and there was some issue with the grid, there's going to be a lot of people, guys, that are going to be in a lot of trouble. Really, start stuffing that mattress, JJ Big said. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I'm a big believer. Paper money, realistically, what is it worth? Nothing. Paper money is worth nothing. So, I mean, if you're going to have some money set aside, I would recommend silver over gold. I absolutely would recommend silver over gold. I'm not associated with any silver companies or anything like that. Bunny Goodman says CEOs need to invest in their employees' benefits, better training to make the quality of the products better and less turnover in the company. I agree with you 100%. If you take care of your employees will take care of you. If and that goes with anything along the lines. If they have a reason to want them to do better, they will. So like I said, that's why I'm a big believer in incentives. I think it's a great way to do it. How much silver can you carry if you have to bug out more weight to carry? That's true, Wolfang, but you can also hide that silver, bury that silver if you had to. I'm not saying you have hundreds of pounds of silver. That's not what I'm saying. I believe in having some silver. I think it's necessary, like your junk silver, like your dimes and your quarters and stuff like that. $50, silver dollars. I think those are important to have, and you should have some, but why silver versus gold? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you, Mary Smith, good question. The reason I like silver better than gold, I've had gold in the past, okay? So I went to one of the local pawn shops, and this is going back many, many years ago, and I bought, what did I buy? 3 ounces of silver, okay? And they charge you so much of a fee to buy it, and then when you go to sell it back, you get charged another fee. So let's say it's like $50 an ounce is that fee to buy that ounce of gold, okay? Now, you have this ounce of gold. It's pretty, it's shiny, it's gold, it looks nice, okay? If you try to get rid of it, you can't go take it to the bank and just say, yeah, I want to turn in this ounce of gold. It doesn't work like that. You have to go to a broker to get rid of that gold, okay? And to try to get rid of that gold is like absolutely ridiculous, because there's only certain places you can go to unload that gold. Now with silver, on the other hand, smaller denominations, like when gold is worth, $1,500 an ounce, and I didn't buy, when I bought mine, it wasn't $1,500 an ounce. I don't want you to think that I had I had, $5,000 in silver or gold. But what I'm saying with silver, it's in smaller denominations and it's easier to get rid of. And actually you can get rid of it in a lot easier than you can for gold. And that's just my take on it. And so, and again, it's like if I have $1,500 right now, let's say like gold is $1,500 an ounce, right? I think it's right in that range. If I buy $1,500 worth of silver, that's a lot more silver, because I think silver's like not even $15 an ounce. Okay, so now I can buy $1,000 or 1,000 ounces of silver or 1 ounce of gold. I can do a lot more bartering wise, especially after an event. Let's talk about that gold versus silver after an event. After an event, that's going to be very much more tradable than that ounce of gold, because we're going to be able to come up with the value of that ounce of gold for whatever products you have. Do you understand what I'm saying with that? So hopefully that it just makes more sense to me that way. If you pull out your 401k, they take 20%, and then you have to pay taxes on it. Stacy, you're absolutely right. That's exactly how they do it. They get you. It's 1793. Okay, so you can still get a lot of silver right now versus that 1 ounce of gold. Okay, so I mean, if you do the, whatever the math is on that, you're still ending up with a lot of silver, and it's a lot more tradable than the gold would be, and it'll work better for you, especially after an event. Like, if you wanted after an event, okay, can't get shoes anymore, so you got to go to a cobbler who knows how to make shoes and stuff like that, and that's his skill. That's what he has. Well, okay, well, I have $3 or $3 silver dollars, and that's what it's going to cost me to get that pair of shoes. Well, I'm not breaking off $3 worth of gold to give him gold. Do you see what I mean? So if I have that 3 ounces of silver, I can go, okay, here you go, and then I get my shoes. Easier to work with, especially after an event. I like silver better that way. It's just so much better. It's just so much better. I have silver dollars from the 1919 to 1926. That's cool, Delbert. Very cool. There's nothing wrong with that. And actually, those are probably worth more than you think they are. It's not just that ounce worth an ounce of gold or silver right now. Your older coins are going to be worth way more money. The oldest coin, and I've collected coins, guys, my whole life. My oldest coin that I have an 1843 halfpenny from Canada. That is my oldest coin. And it's pretty cool because looking at that, you're going, wow, that coin is that old. You know what I mean? So that's kind of neat. I think that's kind of cool. So, but silver is used in many electronics. So should you increase pretty good when the economy dies? Yeah, I'm telling you, well, there's silver and gold in a lot of the electronics. So a lot of people actually collect the old electronics and they harvest the silver and the gold, and it's small amounts, but it's definitely it's definitely worth having. I mean, like I said, much easier to get rid of that silver than it is to get rid of gold. And so I think that's why and like I said, I have nothing to do with any kind of silver company. I'm not trying to sell you guys silver. I'm not involved with anything like that at all. It's just my personal opinion. It's easier to get rid of, and you can get quite a bit of it a lot cheaper than you could trying to buy, that 1 ounce of gold at a time. So, that's just my take on it. But, just like I said, again, after an event, paper money is worth nothing. Okay. That's important to remember. So you could have a nice wad of hundreds, but guess what? You might as well turn it into toilet paper because it's not going to be worth anything. All right. Silver will always be worth silver. Whatever, that's going to be a very tradable good. People are going to use that as a money after an event. So your silver is going to still be worth money. Yep, paper money's worth nothing now, Gypsy Girl just said. Yeah, you're right. There's no doubt about that. So, but yeah, it's just I don't know. I see what's going on. I see the manipulation constant manipulation. And it is absolutely amazing to me. I got on a little rant the other day about the whole Pelosi thing, and they're fishing again. They're just looking for another excuse. I mean, I really truly wish that. Hold on. I really wish these politicians would stop all this petty nonsense. Stop all this party, that party stuff. Work together for the greater good of our country, which what they've been elected to do. I mean, they're not doing it. They have their own interest, and it's not anything to do with what our interests are or what our concerns are. They don't care. They do not. Shout out to the Arizona green tea. That's right. Oh yeah, gotta love the Arizona. And so the Arizona green tea is 99 cents a can, no matter where you go. A lot of places. Okay. What is your take on forgiving student loans? They are considering this now. We'll get into that in just a second. But the green tea, I get it at Walmart for 74 cents a can. So that's where I usually get it at Big Lots, because you can get it for like 75 cents a can at Big Lots. and they were all out. I had gone to Walmart and they had them, so I just bought a bunch more. But all right, so let's talk about student loans. Okay, this should be interesting. All right, so you have these people that are convinced if they go to college and they take up basket weaving, that they're going to come out. Okay, well, here's a great job. Okay, let's do a realistic job. They go to college for communications. Great. $50,000 a year to go to Duke University and get your degree in communications. And you get out of college and you can't get a job because nobody's going to hire you for some huge amount of money for your degree in communications because they don't care. Okay, so now you have this huge student debt loan. How are you going to pay that? So now all of a sudden, all these kids want to be forgiven for all these loans because they went and got all these useless degrees that they were convinced were going to get them someplace in life. So first of all, if your kid's going to go to college, please encourage them to go for something that they can actually get a job in afterwards. And, hard science is still worth it. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So encourage them to go to school to get a job that's worth them going to college for. Should they be allowed to be forgiven of their student loans? No, I don't think so. And that's my personal opinion. I don't think that they should because they made that decision. They could have gone to a trade school. Think about this a second. Could have gone to a trade school, become a carpenter, a plumber, an electrician, all those different things, making a lot more money than these people that go for their 4-year degrees, all right, and come out and not even sure if they can get a job in that field. So to me, I look at it like this, you go to that trade school, you're paying for that, you get that education, all right, you're going to take out loans to go to there too. Now you get, you do your apprenticeship.